talk Marvel Rivals. Have you guys seen this game? This game has obviously blown up in the past, well, since it released. It's been extremely, extremely popular. At one point, it had 644,000 people playing this game when it was released back in February. It popped off, to say the least. I'm sorry, back at the end of December of 2024, it popped off. And it still has 84,000 people playing it right now. Marvel Rivals is an insanely popular game, to say the least. Meg, have you had a chance to play Marvel Rivals yet?
I'm horrible at it.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. I'm like, what do I do?
Right. And there's, if you are horrible, maybe a cuss word or something slips out while you're trying to talk to your team.
Plenty.
Plenty of them. Well, good for your teammates and such, because now Marvel Rivals will automatically record in-game voice chats to protect the community from toxic behavior.
Thank you, Marvel Rivals. We appreciate that.
They have finally done it, guys. The idea of toxic behavior will be rooted out of this. I'm always fascinated by this. We see Call of Duty doing something similar with their AI voice chat, and they will censor words that are used in AI voice chat now, which is just insane. But I got to think of what do you guys think the end goal is with this? Because I think, look, the idea here, I'm not even gonna say it's noble, it's stupid, but I think they see it as a noble cause, right? But what is the end goal from this? When they cross the finish line and they've rooted out all this toxic behavior, what does gaming look like at this point, especially with competitive games?
I think the better question is, what is your definition of toxic behavior?
Oh, yeah.
Can you provide a list of these things? Go ahead,
Meg. No, go on.
I think they know that probably majority men, boys, guys are playing this game. And this is just, to me, another attack on masculinity and just boys being boys.
I think there's definitely something to that. But when you play a game, right, especially a competitive game, anytime you're competitive, Meg, you were competitive for a long time. You still are competitive, but from a sports perspective, there's shit talk, right? You're yelling at each other. I'm sure you struck people out and were like, "Fuck you, bitch," whatever, right?
Yeah, just me, 12 years old in the mound,
just yelling, giving them a finger as you walk off the mound, right? But whenever I play any sort of sport, basketball, whatever, even if it's I was playing a game with my kid last night, and we were playing some building game with blocks or something, and I'm over here giving her a little smack talk, let her know that, hey, I'm the king, whatever, right? And that's a big part of any sort of competitive environment.
Trash talk.
Yes. Not just the physical aspect of it, but the emotional aspect of it, the mental aspect of it. And if you can't control those aspects of it, if you think those are toxic behaviors, that's on you, dude.
That's a you problem.
1000%. So,
I can answer your question, Craig.
Sure.
So you said what the end game is, right? It's just control and honestly silence. They don't want people speaking, right? No one wants to participate in games if they're going to be called, toxic name. Well, as in oh, you can't talk. You said something bad. You're banned now. Nobody wants to participate in these things if they can't even have any fun in them, right? So the end game really here is just control. No one's allowed to have fun. No one can play video games anymore, and people are just going to be miserable. That's what they want.
Okay, you say that, but I don't know if that's necessary. They want people playing video games. Right, they do, because this is their company. But
you sure about that? I mean, they make out really shitty games, thinking this is their target audience and all that, but they're horribly out of step with who the actual audience is.
Yeah, they do. They want them playing the video games, but I think that they also want to play daddy. They want to play, just like the government comes in and they want to make sure that when people mention Marvel Rivals, this game is a really great positive experience, right? Which is, I think there's a lot of irony in that, because when you talk to somebody who grew up in the old days of, Xbox 360 lobbies, the people who are making Marvel Rivals, they want people talking about what a good experience it was. But I grew up in the 360 lobbies being called an F and an R and a whatever, go down the list, right? And being told how bad I suck. And I look back on that with rose-colored glasses. You know, I look back, the good old days of logging on, right? And that's kind of what they're expecting here. I guess, maybe.
I think it's just control, and that's really it at this point.
I would say it's cultural corporate mush. It's just basically now that the corporations have eked and found their way into everything. You're even seeing it now with those payment processors and everything like that. So you're seeing the equivalent of if you worked for a corporation X, that they're so afraid of litigation from everything that it becomes this sterile, sexless, gray zilch. And that's what it just feels like, that now our whole lives are being run the same way you would be if you worked at Corporation X. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, you just sparked this in my head. Wait, what if it's just so that people don't communicate anymore?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't want people to talk anymore.
They don't want people to talk anymore.
They're afraid of talking.
Zombies and mute.
They don't want to say anything bad. They don't want to get in trouble, so they won't talk anymore. They won't, like, rebel against anything or whatever. They won't think for themselves. No critical thinking here. I know, listen, I'm going very black-pilled here, but that's how I see it.
I blame soft parenting for this one. If your kids can't handle trash talk, just bust them up a few times. Call them a loser. Get outside, you loser. Come on.
Get outside, you loser.
This is why I'm not a mom.
Yeah, you're going to have a kid who's like, no, mama, no.
I'm like, get out there.
I'll say this. One of the most exciting moments for me as a dad, like, look, I've coached kids. I've watched my daughters grow up, and my daughter plays competitive volleyball, right? And she had a spike, and when she spiked it down, and it ricocheted off this girl, and it was like a really good spike. And I don't know what she said, but I saw how she reacted, and she gave this like, "Fuck yeah!" like fist bump, and I was like, "That's what I'm talking about," like it's like, "Yeah, let's go," And I think there's a big part of that, and trying to let her know that it's much bigger than the physical aspect of it, and I think that's, when you talk about video games, yes, there is a physical aspect of video games, and I don't need the video game coming in to protect the people that I'm trying to beat in the video game, or my teammates from being, safe. There is such a thing as having a bad teammate. There is such a good thing as having a good teammate. There is such a thing as being criticized for sucking. And you know what? That's okay, because you as a person, you figure out how to deal with that nonsense, or whatever's happening in your life. These are all things that you need to figure out. They're problem solving as humans, because not everything is going to be rosy at all times. And to see video games kind of taking the step is stupid and disheartening, to say the least. You guys have a lot to say about this. Jason says it's called growing thick skin, and you are a stronger person from it. Montez, happy Friday. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Are you tired of all the nonsense? Yeah, you are. Hit the subscribe button right here and join us.